my laptop. Yeah, so I decided to send it to him as an attachment so he can open it and then we use it. But if it's not possible, the
Hello,
slides, all
Prof.
the slides,
Hello,
yeah.
Prof.
How to get my point?
I understand, sir. I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Prof.
So, yes, sir.
Yes, message received, the email received.
So if message received, what do you want us to do now? You download it and then
Yes.
I'll direct you as to how to do it. Yeah,
Okay.
because so you have the first slide, which is the introduction, right? There are about 5 or 6 slides in that email. Hello. Okay, so I've also asked about your background, and I've been told that all of you are first degree holders. Is that true? Hello.
Yes, Prof.
Yes,
I'm
please.
saying I've been told that all of you are first degree holders. Is that true?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what it means is that you are already familiar with research, and so we will just run through the research process with you, and then let you know the areas in which you are expected to undertake research when it comes to political science, and so that will send us back to probably what we mean by political science and the areas in which the discipline of political science research will focus on. And so I start this lecture on the assumption that majority of you are already, or say about 99 or 95% of you are already conversant or familiar with the research. And so we just need to focus on the key areas. But as we move on, yeah, we need to situate what we mean by political science research. But this is also a constantly changing field that requires so many areas. So at times it's very difficult to say that this constitutes political science research. But we are mostly interested in the political behaviors of people, groups of human beings, institutions in which these groups identify with, and the institutions that govern, and the values that underlie political institutions, political thought and systems. And so, for example, if you look at the voting patterns of electorates, yes, it constitutes political science research, because then we are looking at the behavioral components. But we are also very interested in how district assemblies perform. So decentralization in terms of the organizations at the local governance level. So when we talk about political science, we are looking at the spectrum of behavior, institutions, organizations, individual behavior at the individual level, at the organizational level, and we're also looking at the outcomes, the governance systems. And so, as we move on, I'll give you the pointers of the key areas in which the discipline focus on. But then we can come back to research and then discuss what research is. And I know all of you, having had your first degree, will have a basic idea of what research is. And if I should ask the class, the only person I know in this class is the class rep. So, class rep, what will be, let's say, a cursory definition of research? I hope the class rep has not run away. He's there, right?
No, please, I'm here.
You are the only person I know. That's why I came to you. So, what would be a cursory definition of research?
No, please. It is research is um, the process of using systematic steps to collect and analyze data.
Mm-hmm.
It also involves interpretation of the data which is being collected.
Okay. Who
Prof,
else?
this is what I can say.
Are you done?
Yes, please, Prof.
Okay. So who want to bail him out? He's giving us the key pointers. Who also want to add to it? I've seen End Time and Festus. Hmm. Well, I've seen end time and yes, sir.
Please, Gideon here.
Okay, Gideon, go ahead.
I think research is a systematic way of collecting data, interpreting it, developing knowledge in the aim of solving problem or testing a theory.
Okay. So that's your definition of what research is.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Who else? Thank you, Gideon. Who else?
Doc, it's Amos here.
Okay, Emma, go ahead.
So, to my understanding, research is the systematic and a creative investigation to discover new knowledge and understand phenomena or solving problems, collecting data and analyzing data and interpreting the data to get a meaningful information.
Okay, okay. So all of you mentioned a word. What word was mentioned? You used a particular word. Systematic. Thank you. Yeah, all of you in your wherever you are taking your points from mentioned systematic. So it's telling you that there's a structure. There are various steps that we have to go through in terms of undertaking research. And so it's not something that you just get up and you decide to do whatever you want. There's a structured way of undertaking research, which is very important to us. And also, I think about 3 or 4 of you, or even all of you, you mentioned the gathering of data. Was it mentioned? Gathering of data. And you also mentioned analyzing.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
So you see, you've mentioned a systematic process, and you're also telling us that it's evidence-based. Yes, because you gather and analyze facts. Then it was based on this that you do your discussions and then come to the conclusion. Yeah. So the research has to go through a systematic process, telling us that it's structured and it follows a particular way. So you cannot just do it anyhow you want. It cannot be done in a random manner. You need to follow the process, the research process, yeah, that we all have been using under the scientific methods. Yeah, then you also have to collect or gather and analyze the data or the evidence, and it's based on the evidence that you've analyzed that you form your conclusions. So in as much as all your definitions, I don't want to give a generic definition of research, which we have in other books. I want us to also focus on the key aspects of what research is. And then research, somebody said to discover new knowledge, or somebody, was it Gideon, or first one of you said to discover knowledge, and also, so there are some, a researcher will always have questions to answer. So there are questions that drive the research, or questions that underpin the research, where the researcher will want to answer those questions. And so in answering those questions, you discover new knowledge, or you confirm existing knowledge. Through that, you may also test theories, and also you may want to explain why things are the way they are. So research may have the the researcher may intend to explain why certain things are the way they are. The researcher may interested in predicting the annual yield of, say, a particular commodity based on rainfall recorded in the previous year. So the person makes some assumptions, and so can use research for predictive purposes to explain, to describe, and also to test theories, and also to answer questions. And so, based on your definition or the definitions you brought up, research at the end of the day needs to be purposeful. So you just don't get up and do whatever you want. there should be a purpose for which the research is being done. So there should be an underlying reason for which the researcher wants to undertake that research. So you have research as a systematic process. I gathered it from your, I gathered this from your own definitions given, and so hello, and so we are looking at a systematic process, research being a systematic process, being evidence based, being purposeful, and then the last one leading to the construction or the creation of knowledge. And so when we ask about based on the various definitions of research that you may give, these are the core principles that we are always interested in seeing in your definitions or the way that you people may want to define the research. But I always try to use Newman's definition of research, which Newman tells us that it's a systematic process. So you can capture this, but they are all in the slides, which will be shared with you by the class rep. It's a systematic process aimed at discovering new knowledge or verifying existing knowledge through empirical evidence. So you see that the definition that I have given, or the definition that I have adapted from Newman, looks at the various core principles that I have also mentioned. So you have research as a systematic process aimed at discovering new knowledge or verifying existing knowledge through empirical evidence. So if you've written this one down, tell me how you relate this to research, your own understanding. How will you explain research based on the core principles that I've given, and also the definition from Newman that I've just read out? Lawrence Newman says that research is a systematic process aimed at discovering new knowledge or verifying existing knowledge through empirical evidence. So how does it relate with the core principles? Who want to? Let me see. Emmanuel has not spoken. Emmanuel.
Doc.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Doc.
So how do you relate to this in terms of your own experience of research?
Doc. What I would say is that when we talk about research, it is always, there's something that is in society that people try to find meaning and why the thing is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it is a systematic inquiry into, a new, an existing, question that people try to find meaning to it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So who else? I'm just trying to set the fundamentals so that we all understand what research is. So usually I will go back. I use Blackie's definition of research, but I feel that Newman's definition simplifies it for us. And like I read it out to you. He says that it's a systematic process. So once you follow the structured processes, it can be either of a qualitative or quantitative or a pragmatic, a mixed method. All that he's saying is that you follow the systematic process to discover new knowledge, to verify existing knowledge, and you rely on empirical evidence. You rely on the collection, gathering, and all those things, and based on that, come out with your conclusions. And is your conclusion coming out with a new discovering new knowledge, or validating or verifying existing knowledge that we have? And so anytime we talk about research, we talk about research, we talk about research. Research is a systematic process. So when people just go and stand by the roadside and speak to only 10 people, and then they tell you that it's like this, it's like this, it's like this may not be what we may verify, what we may categorize as research, but maybe they are just trying to find out views about certain things and may not in itself qualify as a research. Okay. Any questions on that? So I think now, once we all have done research before, these things are not issues that I have to spend time with. So I've given you a definition from Newman, Lawrence Newman, and I've also mentioned the core principles of research, which I've said that it's a systematic process, it's evidence-based, it should be purposeful, and then it should lead to either knowledge creation. Yeah, it should lead to knowledge creation, new knowledge, or verifying existing knowledge. So you see that all the four core principles that I've mentioned are captured in Newman's definition. And I'm not saying that always use Newman's definition, but that is one definition of research that I've been using. At times, people also, we need to clarify. Somebody saying that I'm doing research on something, and the person goes to sit by the computer and then Google, and then the information that comes out, the person looks and says, write something, says, I've done research on this. Sitting by the computer Googling is a process of, I see it more as data gathering. But these days you see people or you hear people saying that I'm doing a research, and the person is sitting by the computer going into Google and discovering blah, 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 blah. That is not the systematic process that we are talking about. So as we go through the research cycle and the process, you see that what we always talk about, oh, I'm doing research, may not be what, or it's not what is categorized under the definitions and the core principles that I've given out to you. Okay, so let's go to the types of research. Let's go to the types of research. And at your level, there's no need for me to waste too much time on it. We have basic, and then we also have applied research. We have basic and we have applied research. And basic research is straightforward. Basic research is usually called pure or theoretical research, and it's just done to increase the storehouse of knowledge. So you do basic research to increase knowledge that exists. So basic research, like I said, is purely theoretical. Yeah, it's purely theoretical and focus on generating or creating new knowledge. Okay, so the other one is the applied research. The other one is the applied research. Applied research is research that is done or is conducted to help solve problems, or to help researchers and political scientists understand past behavior or behavior of people, so that based on that they can guide them to predict future behavior. And I've given voting patterns as one way of understanding voting patterns or voting behaviors. And even, for example, if you look at our political history in the Fourth Republic, we've gone through several phases of change. And those changes are based on research that were conducted by various researchers. And based on that, it has brought about some modifications or changes in our research, asset in our voting or in our electoral process. So all I'm saying here is that applied research is a research that is conducted to help solve problems. That is applied research for you. It's conducted to help solve practical problems, or to help political scientists to understand past behaviors of citizens, or to understand past behavior of rational actors, so citizens. So also note that applied research is also concerned with developing theories about why something happened. So we are not saying that applied research is not interested in the theoretical component, but then it's very interested in the theoretical component, but then the theory tries to explain why people do what they do. Yeah, so it's done to know why something happened. So through that, you may develop theories about why things happen. And they also look out for causal relationships. So applied research also looks out for causal relationships. Why will voters vote for a particular candidate when they are influenced by that candidate? Or is there a relationship between giving people money and the way or the choices they make in an election? Do you think that when you give people money, they'll vote for you in an election? Does financial inducement affect voting behavior? Hello? Hey, class, are you there or you deserted me?
We are
No,
here,
please.
Dom. We are here. We are following.
Does financial inducement affect voting behavior?
Yes, it does.
Why? How?
Doc, please let me use my as an example.
Mhm.
I am a card-bearing member of a certain particular political party,
Mhm.
and then when they were paying for their primaries, I'm also a leader of that uh, branch, branch side of that political party.
Okay,
Those
sir.
under me were demanding a lot of things from me. Otherwise, next time when I'm contesting, they will not vote for me. And then my opponent
Mhm.
has gained popularity simply because he has financial wherewithal. And then when I got somebody that sponsored me to also do things that normally I couldn't, do, I switched camp
Mhm.
to the person that offered me something. But
Mhm.
sometimes it is not very okay, but mostly it affects the voting behavior of this thing.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Who else?
Doc, please,
Hmm.
Gideon.
Gideon,
Sometimes
what?
certain some 2024 election, I was the presiding officer at a certain police station. So
Mhm.
those hooligans, they were using money to yes, they were bribing, giving money to the citizens, those who were coming to vote, the voters. So I inquired from a certain voter and asked him why he was collecting money. He said, even if the MPP or NDC, whoever wins, he will not get anything. So if you give me 200 Ghana cedis for me to vote for, this will be my last chance of getting money from you. So if you give him money, he will vote for you because he thinks whoever comes on to the power or comes to the power, the person will not get anything from the government. So if you give him a penny, any amount you will give to him, he will based on that and vote for you, thinking that whoever wins will not get anything or get anything from the government. So that's why I think the reason why they voted on that basis.
Okay. So you are concluding the class, though I'm using the two of drawing on the examples from the two students. of the two examples to conclude that the financial inducement affects voting pattern. Is that all? Is that what we are all trying to say?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
So that means that we can propound a theory to say that yes, there's a relationship between financial inducement. A theory that suggests that there's a relationship between financial inducement and voting behavior. Hmm? That means
Yes.
that so now, in policy sense, you have to now respond and bring in remedial measures to be able to do away with that. Yeah, so how can we stop that? That is the essence of a researcher. So the researcher will, based on the evidence, will come out with conclusions. And based on those conclusions, will recommend as to the things that can be done to stop the monitocracy in our elections. So that is the essence of applied research, that we use applied research to solve problems, to solve practical problems, or to help political scientists and by implication researchers to understand behavior, to understand the behavior of actors, institutions, organizations, and to identify the challenges or to examine the challenges associated with this behavior and probably come out with policy directions as to how to resolve it. And I've also told you that when it comes to applied research, people are of the view that because we say that pure or basic research is purely theoretical driven, applied research is not interested in theories. Who told you? Applied research is also very much interested in theories. But then applied research developed the theories based on what behavior observed or what happens in society. Applied research also looks out for causal relationships, and so that through that they may be able to establish the relationship between two or more variables. And they also undertake their research to describe in detail what happens in society, how it happens in society, and what motivates people to act the way in which they act. And then based on that, we'll be able to predict what may happen in future. So if you look at the discussion of the applied and the basic, you just see that political science research tends to align more with the applied than to the basic. Because you see that pure research may not play a key role in political science research because we are looking at more of understanding behavior, looking at organization, institutions, and based on that, trying to bring out solutions or to explain, describe what exists in society. So the focus is not purely on theorizing or coming out with theories about phenomena. So you see political scientists are working in both basic and applied researches because the two approaches use the same methodologies by following similar research designs and then going through the research process in a structured manner as I've done. So if somebody asks you, where does applied and basic overlap? The methods, the procedures used in applied is the same as those that are used in basic because we follow a structured process. And so that's where the commonalities in between the two in our discipline comes in. If there are no questions, I'll look at the purpose, describing the purposes for research. Why do we even do or undertake research? Okay, so in discussing in describing the purposes of research, I have one main purpose as the exploration of a topic. So an issue comes up and you want to explore the issue in detail. Two, you may also be interested in describing or the description of a topic, a situation or event. So first, you may want to explore or undertake an exploration of a topic, and then you want also the description of the topic in terms of situation or event, and then thirdly, you want to explain some phenomenon, or you want to explain some phenomenon. So the explanatory purpose of the research, the descriptive nature of the research in terms of the idea or the topic that you have in mind, and then the explorative aspects of the research, where you want to explore the issue or the phenomenon into details. So these are when you look at political science research, these are the key areas that we put emphasis on. The exploration of the research topic or the issue, the description of the topic in terms of the situation or the event, and to explain also some phenomenon. Some authors have identified also three purposes of research as being able to, one, in terms of political science research, as being able to, one, identify identifying the regularities regarding the relationship between social actors and political actors. So you want to look at how social actors and political actors interact, the patterns that they construct over time, and you're also interested in the processes of institutionalization of political life. What are the patterns identified in political life over a period of time? And then the changes that come out of society as a result of our political ways of doing things. So my slides will give you the different, I think it's in size 3 or 4, will give you the different components in terms of describing the purposes of research within the political science discipline. But people have looked at it from different perspectives. I've just given two. The first one is where Barbie tells us. So the first one is Barbie's work that tells us that there are three purposes of research in the social sciences, including political science. And one is the exploration of a topic. Two, the description of the topic, situation or event. And three, to explain some phenomenon. So according to Barbie, we do research based on three purposes: either to explore a topic in depth, describe a topic, a situation, or an event, and three, to explain some phenomena. And I've also spoken about comparative methods in political science, where people want to compare regularities regarding the relationship between societal actors and political actors, and then the processes of institutionalization of political life. how institutions evolve over time. And 3, the changes in society that emerges from institutionalization and also regularities of political life. So all these areas, in terms of the purposes, I'll give you a book where you read, and it tells you about the different areas that is of interest. That will be of interest to you, because you have various components of political science discipline. So, based on the area or your area of interest, your research will focus on that particular area and try to probably explore something in details. Why do Ghanaians change over political parties every 4 years? You, as a researcher, you may want to understand why that behavior, irrespective of your performance in the second term. Ghanaians think that you have to go for another person to come. And what informs that? As a researcher, you may be interested in knowing that. Others have taken different approaches to be able to explain the purpose of research. If you look at Latop sees 4 purposes in research, and that is theory testing. So Latrop, LATHROP, has 4 purposes in the research, in political science research methods. And he's saying that the 4 key reasons or purposes for which research is done is: 1, the theory testing, extending the range of applicability of existing research, resolving conflicting research findings, and replication of previous studies. So you see that from the 2 or 3 purposes of research that I've given, in each you identify some variations in them. Okay. All right. So last week I gave you some questions to go and have a look at. Can you talk to me about those questions? Class rep.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah, I'm here. What happened to the question?
Yes, Doc. The questions, you told us that we should wait for our next meeting, then we discuss it.
Are you sure?
Yes, please, Doc.
Okay. Okay. All right. No problem. We'll see. So I'm just giving you a snapshot of what we focus on. Class rep, can you give me a hi on WhatsApp?
Okay, Prof.
Yeah, give me a hi on WhatsApp so that I'll let you have this and then we'll move on.
Prof, please, I've done that.
Yes, sir, I'm responding. Don't worry. I've sent something. I don't know whether the quality, but I think we can manage with it. Share with the class. Can I proceed? Hello. Hello.
Dog. Dog, yes,
Hello.
dog, you can proceed. You can proceed, dog.
Yeah, which is
Okay. So, in a nutshell, from what I've shared, I'm sure he has also shared with the class. You see that political science, as a discipline, is interested in the areas that you see, and it also tells you how the discipline has evolved with time. So, whilst earlier researches focused on the discipline and its scope and theory, at a certain point in time, people were looking at political processes and policy making with more focus on American systems. Then, if you look at number 3, we have comparative political processes and policy making. So, these are areas in which political science research focuses on over the time. And then we have micro political behavior with more emphasis on American and comparative politics. Then we have international politics. 6, we have the application of social science in all this. So then if you come to the 1983, you see the shift to theory and methods in political science. And it was at this period where discussions about the theory and methods in political science came up, and then the decisions taken and how it has informed our research process. Then you have the second one under 1983, you have political processes and individual political behavior. So you have the political processes. So political science research is also interested in political processes and individual political behavior. Political science research also focuses on political institutions of the state. So legislature, council of state, the executive, uh, the judiciary, the legislature, council of state. These are all political institutions. And as a researcher, you may be interested in taking research in this, the MDAs. Then in undertaking this research, you're also interested in knowing how nations coexist and their relationships. And in this one that easily comes to mind, or 2, Benin and Nigeria, and then Venezuela and America. How nations exist and their relationship with one another. Then the state in their globalization. Researchers have also paid attention to that. But quite recently, we see more of democracy, justice, and institutions. And then you also have citizenship, identity, the Phobe or the Fulani issues are all identity matters. And then political participation. SAL, why people are allowed to vote, others are not allowed to vote. How do people even understand the electoral processes, and how do they participate? All these things have captured the attention of political science researchers, and then they look at all this with behavioral focus. Yeah. Okay, so this was just to let you know areas in which political science research also takes place. But also don't forget that there's fragmentation. You don't see all of us following one particular direction. But then, in as much as the system have undergone substantial growth for some time, political science research has also been interdisciplinary in nature because they've wandered far from a limited core of questions to look at a variety of issues. Even in this class, I've mentioned a variety of issues this morning. Somebody may be interested in researching in our decentralization system, how the financial aspects of the decentralization process is not working. Yeah, and why do assemblies struggle? At the moment, I'm in Cape Coast, and I think on Saturday or so, on Friday, I went to CCMA and I could see the concrete mixers for the drip project being left at the mercy of the weather for them, and they've started rusting. All the ties are off and all those things. And my question is, what kind of behavior will lead to this? Yeah. So political science is interested more in the behavioral aspects of actors, but then it's an interdisciplinary area that all of us will also have to pay attention to. So having said that and done, I think if you look at the document given you or the document shared with you, you can also see that there are various categories of political science research. So you see comparative politics, political communication, political theory, political administration, international relations, all those things are parts or they are areas that are political science driven. So even these days, public policy comes. Political science is interested in public policy. Political science research is also interested in economic matters, education, housing. All those areas political science research is interested in. And that is the more reason why I'm saying that political science is interdisciplinary and it enables us to know the workings of several areas or several aspects of society. Okay. Okay. All right. So what I'll do this morning is that I will give you this document and then you read. But we need to. And when are you writing your exams? Hello. When are you writing your exams?
Look, I'm checking.
Come again.
No, please, I'm checking.
Okay.
Yes. No, please, our quiz one is on 24th to 25th January. Then the end of same is in 31st to 8th February. Then the second quiz is on 9th and 15th February.
Okay. 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 So I think now I've basically set the context for political science research. And I'm saying that political science looks at so many things. These days, even Asian studies, Arab studies, they are all interested in aspects of political science, political party activities. So political science research cuts across so many arenas, even in international relations, in terms of political institutions, courts, legislative studies, political organizations and parties. So all I'm trying to say here is that you cannot bound or limit political science research as focused on only one issue. It's not unidimensional. It's interdisciplinary and cuts across so many disciplines. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So no questions, but then what I want to do here is to tell you that research itself, based on the discussions we've had, tries to answer a lot of questions. And as researchers, we need to pay attention to some of these questions. And in undertaking research, what we need to pay attention to. So it's almost 8:55. And what I want to do here is that I'll give the first chapter of this book to you. And I expect all of you to read, after which we will move on to the other aspects of the topic of the course, where I'll quickly jump to the research approaches and methods. But the first lecture was to set the context. I need to apologize. There are some two instances where I set the time for us to meet, and something else cropped up. So that one, for me, I'll always apologize and say that I'm sorry. But these were things that were beyond my control. Okay. So
Okay.
are you clear with our discussions this morning?
Yes, please.
You can ask questions, but you are already researchers and you should be understanding some of these things. I can even move on to you've read about quantitative and qualitative research. I hope you are aware of that.
Yes.
Okay. So who said yes? Please, your name. Oh, is it Isifu? Isifu, are you the one who said yes? I want to give you some assignment. So I thought once you've said yes, I can push that assignment to you. By the way, you are not owning up makes me to feel some way. The
Dog,
boldness.
you can put that. Dog, you can put that assignment. You are ready. Don't worry.
So who spoke? That's Festus.
Festus spoke.
Okay,
Yes,
so
dog.
yes, so Festus, I want you to read and talk to us on Tuesday about quantitative and qualitative research. Quantitative and qualitative research.
Okay, dog.
Okay, and then Sophia. Sophia. Okay.
Yes, dog.
Okay, Sophia, I want you to read on realist research and present for us. Realist research and present.
Okay, dog.
Okay. And then Pakisi. Pakisi. I want you to Pakisi. So write it down for Pakisi. Hermeneutic research or narrative research. Hermeneutic research. HERMENEUTIC. Hermeneutic research. Pakisi, read on that and present on Tuesday. Okay. Okay. So I'm done for today. I'll meet you on Tuesday.
Thank you,
Any
sir.
Okay, Doc.
any question?
Yes, Doc. Doc, please, we want to find out that we being students of political science and history, with all this tuition, is it solely for academia, or probably there are other field of work that if we say we are not going to teach, we can't be employed there? Thank you.
Okay, sir. Once you get your degree, wherever you want to work, you can work. That's the essence of the first degree.
Thank you.
And a diversified skill sets that you can apply wherever you are. Yeah.
So, Doc, please, it doesn't limit us to classroom or being in education side. It doesn't limit us. We can go to other side aside education.
That one I can't say anything because I'm not part of the people who designed the program and also the intentions for which the program was designed. So I cannot comment on that one. All that I can comment on is the discipline related aspects of research. That one I can quickly give you a response. But that one, the question you just asked, it will be difficult for me, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. So Tuesday,
No,
yes,
please.
sir.
No, please. Back with you, Saran. My assignment. Can you give me the spelling for the word? Is it hemolytic or whatever? I can't hear.
It's Hemiotic. H. Hello.
Yes, sir. I'm listening, sir.
Okay, sir. So HER.
Doc, please, I'm listening.
You look for narrative research.
Okay, sir.
I look for narrative research. So, why are you at church?
I just walked outside, so I'm listening.
So HERMENEUTIC.
Doc, he said that I should do the narrative research rather.
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay. All right, sir.
Yes, but you let me spell it for you. HERMENEUTIC. Hermeneutic research. HERMENEUTIC. Hermeneutic research. So we for some 2 hours.
All right, Doc. Thank you. Have a good Sunday.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Let me go to church.